Hi everyone, we are Jenny Puente.
And Wendy Herrera.
We are going to talk about basic English grammar, usage and terminology. And this chapter begins by emphasizing that it is important to have a solid understanding of grammar usage and key terminology in order to easily differentiate standardized English from incorrect English. The author mentioned that he has seen some teacher confuse providing grammar level with giving a good grammar explanation. Okay, let's see this example. We have a student here and a teacher. Who is grown to say, I wish I studied more for today's test? Why do I have to say I wish I had studied more for today's test?
Because had study is past perfect tense.
Excuse me, what?
Had is the auxiliary verb and study is the past participle. When you use had as an auxiliary verb with the past participle, that's called past perfect tense.
Okay, in this case scenario, the level past perfect is in fact the correct level for the words had studied. However, the level past perfect is not the grammar explanation here. The correct explanation is that native speakers use past perfect tense of a verb after the word wish, when we are wishing now about something in the past. Thus, the key component of the explanation is that the word wish takes a mandatory verb form, which happens to be past perfect tense to describe a past action. We use simple past to describe a present action. I wish I knew the answer now.
Following this example, we emphasize the importance of grammar. Well, first of all, we want to know what's grammar. According to the Linguistics Dictionary, it's a system and structure of language or languages in general, usually taken as consistent of syntax and morphology, and sometimes phonology and semantics. It's the set of structural rules governing the composition of clauses, phrases, and words in any given natural language. The term refers also to the study of such rules. At the same time, we must be aware of the differences between descriptive and prescriptive grammar. Prescriptive grammar prescribes or dictates exactly what should or should not be said or used. In contrast with descriptive grammar, describes how the language is being used. For instance, prescriptive grammar says to use whom for object position. Who would you like to speak with it? In contrast, descriptive grammar knows that in current usage, whom would you like to speak with is correct formal language. Such rules. In this case, we're gonna focus on the parts of the speech, which emphasizes how the structure of a sentence works. Beginning with nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. We chose this topic from the book or from chapter 2 because we think it's important to teach our students the differences between their L1 and their L2 in the linguistics approach. And for this reason, we are going to explain the parts of the speech.
Okay, then we have the first part of the speech. What is a noun? It's the name of a person, place, thing, or quality. What question does a noun answer? Who and what? Proper versus common nouns. A proper, name of a specific person, place, or thing, like Princess Diana, Los Angeles, Friday, and common is the name of any person, place, or thing. A princess, a city, a day. Counts versus not counts nouns. Assignment, fact, machine. With homework, information, machinery.
The second part of the speech is a verb. What is a verb? A verb shows action or being. Action is basically run, eat, prepare, destroy, ask, walk, of the verbs. And being is existence, which is be. Am is, are, was, were. What questions does a verb answer? What does? What did the subject do? What types of verbs do we have? We have base form, past, past participle, present participle. What's a transitive verb? A transitive verb must have an object for the action. On the other hand, intransitive verbs can never have an object for their action. We also have auxiliary verbs or helping verbs, which is be, do, have. At the same time, we have modals. Modals are a special category of auxiliary verbs that express feeling, attitudes, opinions in a verb phrase. With helping verbs, we have, for example, be. And the book explains how be is being used as an auxiliary verb. For example, in page 56, it gives an example saying that oil has been the main export of Saudi Arabia for several decades now. Has been is the auxiliary verb. On the other hand, we have do as a main verb. On page 57, gives examples, emphasizing on how to use those auxiliary verbs. The taxi driver did us a favor by taking our bags to the lobby. At the same time, explains how to use have as a main verb. Also on page 57, gives an example, which is my cats have several toys. We have also the third part of the speech, which is pronoun. A pronoun is a word that can replace or substitute for a noun. Instead of saying Maria, we can say she. For example, we have in the presentation the different pronouns, which is interesting. We found that in Spanish we don't need sometimes the pronouns because we can say clearly como, comemos, comen. On the other hand, in English we need to use a pronoun to tell who is doing what. For example, I eat, you eat, she eats, we eat, they eat. So this is what we found interesting on pronouns.
Okay, then let's continue with adjective. What is an adjective? An adjective is a word that describes a noun or pronoun. What question does an adjective answer? Which one? How many? How much? What kind? And articles are a difficult type of adjective too. There are three kinds of articles. Indefinitive articles, which is a and am, the definitive articles, which is the, and the zero or null article, which simple means no article is used, as in I like tea or tigers are wild animals. Articles are very difficult for students as the same that other kind of adjectives. For example, we have it on page 43. What makes some kind of adjective difficult for ESL students? And it attracts my attention that when it say that what is the correct sequence for multiple adjectives before a noun, and then the chapter asks us about which is correct, the baby's small white socks or the baby's white small socks. And then the article mentioned that native speakers were never taught any rule for sequencing adjectives but they rarely have a problem with this grammar. But the general rule is that adjectives come in this order. First, opinion. Second, size. Third, age, shape, color, origin, and material. Then we have the adverbs. An adverb is a word that modifies a verb, an adjective, or another verb. What question does an adverb answer? Well, it has to be how, when, where, how often, how much.
Okay, the next one is conjunctions. A conjunction is a word that connects parts of a sentence together. Conjunctions link words, phrases, or causes. What question does a conjunction answer? A conjunction answers a question about the relationship between words. For example, is the word showing contrast? Is the word showing concession? Is the word showing a choice? Is the word showing a collection? Is the word showing a cause? Is the word showing a result? Or is the word showing a condition? Well, one of the things that I remember from high school is learning the word fanboys. I don't know if you recall them. In this case, they use fanboys to explain coordinated conjunctions, which is for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. That's one of the things that I really recall learning from high school, right? And then we have subordinating conjunctions that we use, for example, to introduce a dependent clause and explains the relationship to the main part of the sentence. For example, we use after, although, as, because, before, how, if, once, since, then, though, till, unless, until, when, where, whether, or while. We also have conjunctive adverbs. These ones are, for example, consequently, however, likewise, moreover, nevertheless, nonetheless, otherwise, similarly, or therefore. Another part of the speech is preposition. What's a preposition? Well, it's a word that shows the relationship between a noun or pronoun and the rest of the sentence. What question does a preposition answer? Which one? When, where, or when? Those are the answers that a preposition answers. For example, in page 68, we use, they have examples of these ones, and it says the squirrel ran up, either up, down, or dot the tree. The end is under, by, in front of the bottle. And this is how we use prepositions. Finally, we have interjections. What's an interjection? Well, an interjection is a word that expresses a strong feeling or emotion. Interjections are more common in spoken language than in written language. Interjections often appear in fiction, especially when authors are trying to recreate natural dialogue. For example, wow, great, gosh, ouch. Okay, chicos, this concludes our presentation about parts of the speech, but we also want to invite you to read the sections 3 and 4, which emphasizes the importance of learning the labels for grammatical concepts and how useful it can be for teachers and students, but also to emphasize the importance of the grammar is more than just labels. On the other hand, we have section 4, which emphasizes why the 12 English verb tenses matter.
Language. This section says that language handles verbs tense differently. In languages such as Chinese, they are no verb tense per se, instead adverbs of time, like yesterday, before, then, indicate when action happened. And other languages such as Spanish and German have verb tense that look similarly to those in English, with some overlap in meaning with those in English, but the usage vary. So for that, it's important that you put attention also to those two sections too. Thank you for all your attention.